it's your girl! And oh my god! The gods have answers us, everyone. I have news that will shake you to your core, leave you in awe, begging, pleading for more information. And that's exactly what I'll give you. Because 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲 has made a manga! You have not died and gone to heaven. We've just been rewarded for something I don't know, but God knows we've done something, because let's f***ing go! 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲, the king of all kings in terms of hentai art, in terms of just hentai in general. My favorite, one of my most favorite hentai artists has made a manga, and it is beautiful and it is amazing. I was literally boarding the plane to go to England, which is why my setup is so different right now, guys. Hey, I'm in England right now. And I saw that 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲 released a manga. I had to buy internet off the plane. I could not wait a minute longer to read this manga. I needed it and I needed it now. I don't care if the person next to me saw some immaculate, wonderful, just anime titties that glistened. The nipples were the eyes of God. I don't care if they saw that. So yeah, I read it. Now, if you do not know who 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲 is, hello, hi, my name is Sydney. I am a 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲 apologist. They are essentially a hentai artist. One of my favorite, obviously, I've kind of said that already. I'm pretty sure also by the title, you probably gauged that. That makes immaculate art. Now, there are a lot of hentai artists that make beautiful, amazing art. But 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲 takes it like a step further. More than any other artist I've seen. There's some beautiful panels that they add so much detail, and it is gorgeous. It's something that you would like anticipate seeing in like a typical rom-com manga, but you know, it's a hentai. It's so beautiful that it would be the proudest fact that you would ever have accomplished. You'd be crying here or here. It doesn't matter. It's perfection. 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲 is amazing. They've also come out with their own hentai animated, and yeah, now their own manga. There's no stopping 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲. You might have also heard of him because I commissioned him to draw a few drawings of me on screen and tell me they are not immaculate. It will be on my grave. It is my gravestone. So instead of keeping on sucking 𝓗𝓲𝓲𝓲's pee-pee, let's talk about his manga, which is called 𝓗𝓮𝓷𝓽𝓪𝓲. I don't know why my and the premise is essentially about a guy named Satoshi who applies to university with his high school friend named Fuyu, who's a girl, and he decides that if they both get into this university, that he's going to confess his love to her. However, he gets rejected. And unfortunately, because he didn't anticipate getting rejected, he also put a deposit down on a apartment that is near the university. And he can't get his money back, so he's like, I guess I'm just gonna live here. And he kind of resigns himself to studying for the next year in order to get into university next year so he can confess his feelings then. However, when he first moves in, he opens the closet and what does he find? A hot, naked 𝓗𝓮𝓷𝓽𝓪𝓲 covered in strong zero bottles and holding a vibrator. Now, there is an ungodly amount of strong zeros always surrounding her, but especially in that first picture of her, it even makes my liver hurt. If you do not know what strong zero is, if you do not know the heaven that is actually hell that is strong zero, then you have not really lived. It's alcohol that is very alcoholic alcohol. And Lord knows I've had my nights with it. So of course, Satoshi starts freaking out. He's just like, oh baby, what are you doing in my closet, naked woman? Get the hell out of here. And she's like, no, get me water. And what does he do? He gets her water. I would too. Look at those freaking days. And I just want to side note, any anime girl that has like ear piercings, like that go all the way down to here, S tier. Every fucking time S tier. So he gives her the water, she drinks it, and she's like, oh my God, you saved my life. I'm really thankful. Then he's just like, okay, that's great. So what happened? Why are you here? And she's like, oh, I just got really drunk and I don't remember. And he's like, okay. And she's like, oh, also, I don't remember my name or anything else, actually. The explanation she gives is that she got so drunk that it completely like wiped out her memory, which is concerning. So the girl doesn't remember anything. Again, she doesn't even remember her own name. So throughout this whole manga, we don't know what to call her. So I'm just gonna call her Q, like for question mark, because there's nothing else they call her at all. They try to just say you. So she's just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna stay here. Is that cool? And he's just like, okay, that's cool. To be fair, I would do the same thing. And then as a thank you, she's just like, okay, you wanna get laid? And he's just like, it does almost happen, but then the high school friend comes over to visit and then it doesn't happen. That's the opening to our story. So you'd think that there's a lot of sex happening in the manga. And truthfully, there is, but not with our main character. It's always like when Satoshi is dreaming or there's like a side character having sex, but it's never the actual main characters. So it's leaving that kind of like, this series is definitely the cusp of, is it hentai or is it ecchi? Kind of like that one series where I did so many videos on, how do I not remember the name? Where they are going to brothels and reviewing it and you don't know if it's hentai or ecchi. It's like that. It's towing a sweet fucking line. And the comedy aspect is a few things. They're all lewd, but they're, you know, comedically lewd. A lot of the manga centers around Satoshi trying to ensure that Fuyu isn't eaten up by any of the men that is in the university. A lot of the chapters are kind of like he follows her. He follows her a lot, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I think that's actually a lot of the manga. He just kind of like stalks her when she's with the guys. But also the comedic aspect comes from when Q is near him, which is all the time. And when he's studying, trying to focus, trying to get into university, you know, trying to get into his friend, she like to sexually tease him all the time, like to a very alarming degree. And I'm just saying right now, Q is the wife of the manga. There's no doubt about it. And that is not just my personal opinion. She is like the face of 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲's little escapades here. And the reason for that is because she is without a doubt the most memorable girl. And that is because she is fucking unhinged. She is batshit crazy. Now, she's an erotic girl. I mean, it's in the title. She really likes to just, you know, do erotic things all the time. It's a disorder, I'm sure. You don't know how far this is gonna go in each chapter. It's always random and it's always kind of frightening. Like, for example, there is one scene where Fuyu wants to join the tennis club in university. And Satoshi's just like, oh my god, you know, tennis club in university is actually kind of like a sex club, and any girl who joins it, you know, ends up getting eaten up by the other men in the club. And they wanted to go out drinking with Fuyu. And so Satoshi's just like, okay, I guess I'll stop her. And he kind of sits in the bar, and with him is Q. And Q gets drunk. Fuyu is over at another table with the guys. So Q gets drunk, and then she just, for some reason, gets up, goes over to Fuyu, who doesn't even know that they're there, and just starts making out with her in front of everybody. And then they just start taking off all their clothes in this bar. And everybody's just watching like, what the even for an ecchi manga, like, that's the limit. Like, I guess for a hentai, sure, but this is like, it truly feels like a manga. It doesn't feel like you're watching a hentai, but then it sounds contradictory. You probably don't believe me when I'm saying, like, this happens. Of course, it sounds like a hentai, but it feels like a manga. So it's very unhinged, batshit crazy stuff she always does like that. She doesn't care where you are, who you're with. You could be at your dad's funeral, and she's like jacking you off when you're by his casket. And it's entertaining, but it's also, it's frightening. And it especially helps, you know, the charm of her character, that the art is impeccable. Of course it is. I am not going to talk about a video with 𝓗𝓲𝓪𝓲 and not at least have a second to gush more about how impeccable his art is. Admittedly, the sex scenes in here are not fully sex scenes because it's a manga. This is not a dedicated hentai. You know, there's no detail in the kind of penis, vagines. Actually, we don't see any of that at all, even during the sex scenes that are happening. More of the focus is definitely on the breasts, which kind of helps enhance the ecchi aspect of it rather than the hentai. But again, the breasts. One of my favorite things that he draws is boobs. It's just because he makes them look so beautiful, so shiny, so impeccably beautifully perky. And the faces, the details he puts in the eyes, the hair, the coochie hair, kind of like every aspect of, you know, it looks very realistic. It's gorgeous. And especially how this is a longer thing. The amount he still puts in, the amount of detail he puts in the art is outrageous. Someone get this man some help. He's doing too much here. It's God's work. And I just feel like, is there really, I need some. But besides the art, the story is admittedly kind of, maybe I need to reread it again, which I definitely will do, but the pacing is a little weird to me. You know, it's a very anime logic. You know, the guy finds a girl in a closet, just lets him live with it, but like, it didn't make much sense. Like, she did give him money, sure, but he didn't really have any qualms about it, which is, it doesn't ever really also get like addressed. Yes, there's a lot of mystery behind this character. I'm sure this is gonna be fleshed out more because there's only one volume out now because this is very new, but the question still hangs around like, who the heck is this person? I gotta say, I think it's the first time in a manga that I've read where the waifu literally has no name. It just does not get addressed. They do not even try to give her a name, which is refreshing, but also felt weird. It just kind of felt weird. And also, you know, once again, and I'm sure it's gonna be fleshed out potentially, but this lady got so drunk she forgot all of her memories. I mean, I'm no biologist, but that doesn't sound like that could happen. Also, the story, it's very cliche, I guess, in a kind of like early 2000s comedic way. You know, a guy likes a girl, you know, he kind of stalks her a bit. But, you know, there's a girl on the sidelines just like, please notice me. Literally, here's my tits. So I'm definitely not here for the story. I'm definitely there for Q and the artwork and to see the inevitable banging that will be happening with them, without a doubt. Each chapter isn't also very long either. I know sometimes when things happen and it doesn't make sense, it's kind of comedic, but sometimes it's kind of like, well, that doesn't really make the story flow correctly. Like, I don't fully understand how he always ends up finding where his friend is, but you know what? I have to stop questioning anime logic. This is what I do, okay? How do I not know the answer by now? Anime just knows. But you know what? For a first actual manga attempt, attempt. It's not bad. Of course, it highlights why he got popular. I mean, it's great. Admittedly, yes, the story is a bit basic, and I won't lie to you right now. I'm going to be keeping on for the art, and yeah, like I said, the waifu alone. Need I say less, the ear piercings, just downright bullshittery that she pulls off all the fucking time. It's a classic. Don't want to miss it. But definitely not here for the progression of the story. But it does honestly make me excited for how far Jodori's going to go. Like, he already is a pretty well-known creator. Like, he made so much well-known art and hentai series. He's also made, like, you know, he's got his hentai animated. Now he's making his own manga, so it's just like, well, shit, what if this becomes an anime? It feels like the road of Jodori is just ongoing and endless, and god damn it, am I here for it? Am I constantly watching, making sure Jodori is gonna be president of the world, every country in this entire world, just knowing everything can be as beautiful as it is in his mind, the way he draws it? Yes! I am the senator of Jodori's world right now to ensure that this happens. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just thinking I could see the world as beautifully drawn as Jodori draws it. I'm proud. I'm proud of Jodori for the fact that, you know, it just seems like they're willing to try as much out there as they can. Honestly, I'm here for it. I've said that a million times. I'm gushing. I'm gushing. Now, like I said before, not much is out of the series yet. It is only one volume, so there's still a lot to be fleshed out, still a lot to kind of like uncover, but I highly recommend that you read this. 𝓗𝓮𝓷𝓽𝓪𝓲 is, without a doubt, just eye candy. It is eye candy, but it's eye heroin, actually. It's gorgeously drawn. Q is a phenomenally interesting character to watch because you don't, you know, once again, probably need to see a psychiatrist. Her jacking off everywhere is kind of an issue. Even if the story isn't a basic, it's fun. It's a fun thing to read. I had a lot of joy of reading it, and I couldn't put it down. I really couldn't stop reading it after I started. I don't know if this is like the best introduction to Jodori's works. I think some of his more detailed works are definitely obviously in his one-shots or his hentai, you know, series. But for a manga, once again, this is just turn your fucking brain off. Just look at, it's literally just that. The lips as well. The lips. I'm not gonna keep on this. I can't. What am I gonna go into every detail of what makes Jodori's art so gorgeous? But yeah, high recommendation. Literally, you can't go wrong. Check out Jodori's other works as well if you haven't. And also, yeah, I made videos about Jodori's other works too. Go watch them. And make sure to give a lot of support because I feel like this person, they're going somewhere. They're doing things, and I don't know how far we're gonna go, but I'm excited to see it. Either way, thank you guys for watching this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you to all of my patrons. And yeah, thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time. Adios, amigos. Bye, 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 bye.